Okay, we are here to talk about Doja Cat, and we are going to talk about the characteristics of the chart today. We're not going to be asking a question. So, what you see here is human design. My name is Katie Lynn, and I'm one of less than 500 certified analysts to be able to read and synthesize charts properly. What I'm going to go through first is the stuff that is white in the chart, the white centers. Now, when a person is making decisions based on who they're not, so a not self decision, in the head center, she'll be trying to be inspirational, or she might find herself going down the friggin' hole of social media, scrolling and scrolling, trying to be inspired. So that's a not self. And in Ajna, right here, what's the not self view of what this is? Well, trying to prove that you know, or that you're right, or it could be the complete opposite, and you just may keep to yourself until you know that you're completely right, so that, you'll be conceptually sure and not humiliate yourself. So that's a not self strategy, too. Um, what's the wisdom here? You only know what you know, and that's okay. Don't spend your time trying to answer other people's questions, specifically the ones that don't matter to you. Okay, let us talk about this center here. This is the heart center. It's not about love, it's about willpower, it's about commitment. So yours is completely open, just like your head is. Sorry, your ajna. And this means that you can experience all variations of what it is to be in this particular center. Now, some days you might feel like you got what it takes to be able to commit to everything. And then some days you're like, oh my God, why did I just commit to that? But if you're in your not self, or if you're making decisions based off of who you're not, or making decisions based off what people expect from you, then in this center, you may not feel like you're enough or deserving or loved, or that maybe you have to prove yourself and you have nothing to prove. And I do want to remind you that you are loved. You are perfect the way you are. But for some reason, when this is undefined, 70% of this world has it undefined. So a lot of people feel like they have something to prove. Well, what could you maybe prove? Maybe competitiveness, or maybe about control. Prove that you're in control. Or we could be talking about being in control of being inspiring, or prove that you do know, or prove that you can be inspiring. I said that wrong earlier. So this can be sometimes a burden, but just remember that you are loved and you are deserving, and there's nothing that you need to do in order to go any further, nothing that you need to prove. Just make decisions based on who you are. But once again, we're not here to do that particular service. The strategy and authority is how you say your yes and no. But we're moving on to the diamond shaped center here. It's the G center. It's about direction, identity, and love in life. So yours is undefined, and it doesn't mean that you're broken when things are undefined. It just means that it is. You have an undefined G center, and I think that this is more of a gift than anything, because when you walk into a place, you're gonna be able to understand quite quickly if it's correct for you or not. Those are the experiences that aren't correct for you. So you should be walking out and going somewhere different. Maybe it's just a place right next to it. But yes, your body will know what is correct for you. Regarding identity, direction, and love, specifically that direction, your body really does know. All right. If we pair that with the last one that we just talked about, maybe you feel like you have to prove, your identity or prove that you know where you're going. But I think that you live in this particular center beautifully because you are the chameleon when it comes to doing new things regarding your wardrobe, your hair, etc. Unfortunately, I don't know you well enough to be able to say all the other unique things that you do. We were just speaking about your last center, the G center, and moving on to this center here. This one here changes. If you're born in the morning versus night, it would actually flip opposite to this versus this. So I'm not going to sit and comment on this very long, but I will talk about it. So when this is open or undefined, you may hold on to people, places, things, or experiences a little bit longer than you should, or you might get rid of those systems or support systems that are good for you. So you're like, I got it. I got this. Once again, what's the correct way to understand who or what is the correct thing for you in your life right now? Well, your energy will tell you. Okay, let's synthesize these 5 centers together to see what maybe it could look like put together. Well, you are a person who is here maybe to show, remember, this is your not self. Show that you are a person who can support people even long past their due date, and you're going to prove to yourself that or others that you can go harder, better, faster, stronger without people even asking. And you might need to prove that you know where you're going in life, or need to prove that you know your identity. But there's nothing that you need to prove, not even to yourself. And you might find yourself trying to be inspirational or trying to invoke your thoughts on others, your network. Okay, so that's the not colored in stuff. Why is it not colored in? Well, that could mean that it's just inconsistent. So you just don't make decisions based off of this white stuff in your chart. Now, we haven't talked about the colored in stuff in your chart, and let's do that. Let's start with this. It's just a quick way of understanding that you need to gain clarity in your decisions. Once again, depending on the time of day, it could mean something completely different. So I'm not going to sit here and explain this deeply because I'm not too sure based on your time of birth. So let's move on. Doja Cat, you have a specific way of understanding the correct timing for yourself. And you actually understand when enough is enough for you. Although you might go a little bit further just because. And you have a fixed way of, expressing yourself or showing yourself to the world. Now, there's a lot of different things that we could talk about, but I want to mention this channel here, the channel of mutation. This channel of mutation, it sits deeply within your chart. We can see that it kind of looks like a candy cane, red and black. So we can see that 60 sits here, the 360 sits here, the 60 sits here again. Over on the right side, the 3 sits over here, looking for a 3 or a 60, and the 66 here. So there's 5 places in your chart where this exists. of the 26 chances of having different numbers or gates. Now, this is all about bringing something brand new into the world. When people are around you, they're probably like, whoa, look at that happen. And you're just like, yeah, well, that's just normal for me. That's normal in my world. But you are going to have this type of fluctuating, pulsing on and off type of energy regarding this. So it's off, 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 and then it's on, and then off, 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 off. So, you might experience melancholy during those off periods. It's pretty deep. So just make sure you talk to your doctors and psychologists about that. Same shit, different day. But the thing is that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's nothing that you need to force out of this melancholy. Melancholy can be um, uncomfortable. Sadness and downness can be uncomfortable, but like I said, there's nothing that you need to do except just move through it, making your correct decisions, using your strategy and authority to do that for you. Um, but the light at the end of the tunnel is that you're just moving through something that when you get to the end of it, there's going to be something so creative at the end of it. So that's the light at the end of the tunnel, which is great. You do have a split definition no matter what time of day you're born. So that just means that if you're in a relationship, there's going to be something there where you feel like, oh, well, this might be wrong with me. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. I don't have your exact time of birth, so it could be that, it could be that, it could be that. So I'm just not even going to go any further with that. What's fun with this particular system is that this is the only system that I've ever found that teaches you how to say your yes and no. And from that, if you're saying your yes and no, then you're allowing your purpose to flow through you with every correct decision that is made, whether it is a yes or a no or an I don't know. Let's move a little bit deeper. Let's talk about this personality sun. It says that you're a determined person. Expediency, immaturity, resourcefulness. So, do you feel like those resonate with you? But you can see the 2 here, the 4 here. It actually comes over to your profile here. You are a hermit opportunist. You are a person who just has this talent about you. And other people recognize it. When people call you out on it, you're just like, I don't know, I just do it. So you're a person who enjoys their own space because you don't like the drama. But you do recognize that your opportunities come from your network. So it's like a love-hate relationship with your network. It's like, oh, just go away, but I need you. When we're talking about your type of environment what type of people do you need, what type of environment do you need to be in order to be successful? Well, you need to be surrounded by people who are role models. I wonder if that's something that happened for you. And the type of people that you need to be around in order to be successful are those who will allow you to research, dig into things, and really get a grasp on what it is that you want to talk about before you talk about it. So, role models, an environment of role models, or being shown what a role model is what will allow you to be successful, and the people in your environment, will allow you to do that digging and that research until you feel comfortable with it. Okay, we could talk about this for hours on end, But if you want an experience like this, then you can go ahead and go to my katielynn.ca website and purchase a $50 experience where I teach you how to do or say your yes and no. But if Doja Cat just by random chance happens to see this and you want more of an experience, then I'd love to go deeper with you. Thank you for watching.